Welcome back to another video. I'm Scott, this is Techno Eclipse, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the 3 most underrated Apple products. Starting with, of course, the Magic Trackpad. Why is this the most underrated product? Well, it's not the most underrated product. I think out of the 3, it probably is the most underrated product in my opinion, but obviously people are going to have their different opinions, and everyone's opinion that they have, remember, is wrong, because what I say is always 100% factually accurate. So, why is the Magic Trackpad one of the most underrated products that Apple makes, if not the most underrated product? Well, it cannot be understated how important to the Mac ecosystem and the Mac experience that a trackpad is. A trackpad is kind of what makes a Mac, in my opinion. I know I've used a Mac desktop computer with just a mouse, and it's just simply not the same experience. Using it with the trackpad really just changes the whole game for me, in my opinion. There are so many different gestures. There are so many different things that the trackpad is actually useful for, even on other apps. So for example, not just like Safari, which is made by Apple. If you look at Premiere Pro, to scrub through the timeline, you can use 2 fingers, scrub through the timeline, and to zoom in, zoom out, you can also pinch in, pinch out to actually scrub through the timeline just like that. So Premiere Pro incorporates a trackpad. There are other apps that also incorporate the trackpad, and honestly, the trackpad is super underrated, especially having an external one. And the reason I think it's also underrated is because no one really thinks about it, because a lot of people buy MacBook Pros and they just have the trackpad incorporated in them. So for the people that buy Mac computers, I would definitely suggest getting the Magic Trackpad along with your iMac, Mac Pro, or Mac Mini, whatever desktop Mac product you have. I would definitely suggest getting the Magic Trackpad. Or if you run, it's like something I'm going to be setting up soon, a MacBook Pro as your main computer, and you want to set up some type of MacBook Pro clamshell closed to external monitor, I would definitely suggest getting an external trackpad. The one I currently have is the 1st generation Magic Trackpad. It's the same as the 2nd generation, just you need to replace the batteries instead of being able to charge it. Personally, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me either way, and I bought mine for 25 bucks, so you can find them used for extremely cheap because there are a lot of them available. I personally suggest picking one of these up if you do have an Apple product like a Mac or a MacBook Pro. Any Mac lineup product that you have, I would definitely suggest getting the Magic Trackpad 2 or the Magic Trackpad 1, depending on if you want to save a little bit of money. The second most underrated product I'm going to say, and some of you might disagree with me that this is an underrated product, but I personally think it is. I don't think it gets talked about enough. I don't think it gets talked about enough when people bring up the Apple ecosystem, and that's the AirPods. The AirPods are the most intelligently designed headphones, in my opinion, ever designed, ever. There are better sounding headphones that are much cheaper, and I'll be the first to admit that, but from somebody who isn't really into good sounding headphones, I guess, I don't need to sound good as long as I can hear what's being played on the device. They're like a lifesaver, in my opinion. They have the microphone that shoots down to your mouth so you can talk to people. They are wireless headphones, and what does that mean? It's like, yeah, they're wireless, that's great, but no, they're like truly wireless. The only wire you ever need to use is the one that connects to the bottom of the case that actually charges them. So in my opinion, these are super underrated as well. They have so much usability. They're so useful if you have iOS devices, Mac devices, and anything in between. They really are great headphones. The fact that they are purely and totally wireless, I can't say enough about them, and I definitely suggest if you're thinking about getting them, go ahead and get them. You're not going to regret them. If you are an audiophile, you might be upset by the sound quality, but I'm telling you, the actual usefulness, the ease of use, you're going to want to buy them. Just in my opinion, just from somebody who's used them, I would definitely suggest purchasing them. And finally, now that it's 2 days later, I've come up with the third thing. The third item or product that I think is the most underappreciated product from Apple, or most underrated product, is Final Cut Pro. And along with that, I would actually just include all of the apps that Apple includes with their devices. Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, those all cost extra money. Adobe Premiere Pro costs extra money. all of those apps that you could get Windows variants of cost extra money and are a monthly fee. On the Mac side of things, you can get great apps such as Pages, such as Keynote, such as their Numbers, such as even iMovie and GarageBand. And while iMovie and GarageBand are not quite on the level of Premiere Pro or like Logic Pro X or whatever, they are great free products that Apple supplies. And I would just say the apps in general, but I'm going to narrow it down and say Final Cut Pro. That one isn't free. It's $300. If you have a student email, though, you can get like Logic Pro, Motion, Final Cut Pro, and another app for $200. So if you know somebody who has a student email, talk to them and you can get a huge discount on these apps. And if you only need one of them, it's still cheaper to get that. The reason Final Cut Pro, I believe, is one of the most underrated products that Apple supplies is because when you look at a comparably spec'd laptop on the Windows side running Premiere Pro versus the Mac side, Final Cut Pro wins every single time. There isn't an instance where it doesn't win. The reason that being is because it's so well optimized with Macs. Again, you have to pay the premium to get the Mac in order to be able to buy Final Cut Pro. But just in general, I think Apple gives away a lot of free apps that we should be thankful for. A little bit on the Mac side because you would have to pay for those on the Windows side. And a plus is that all of their apps work super well because they're only meant to work on a handful of computers. So these are my thoughts on the 3 most underrated products that Apple supplies. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think I'm just being an Apple sheep and all of Apple's products suck and I suck and I should leave? If that's the case, then just let me know. But I want to thank you guys for 230 subs. That's awesome. Thank you again for all the support. And I will see you in the next video. If you like this one, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you didn't like this one, dislike, unsubscribe, leave a mean comment. And then, as always, have a great day. All right. Oh, I just nailed the mic. I'm sure that'll be loud. All right. Peace out.